Mr. President, may we recognize Senator Joel Villanueva for the continuing interpellation.
Yes. Senator Villanueva is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Majority Floor Leader. Thank you, Mr. President. And before I ask questions, I'd like to personally congratulate our dear Senate President Pro Tempore for that distinguished award. And for this matter, I'd like to ask if the distinguished gentleman from Olongapo, my fellow kababayan from Central Luzon, would yield to very few questions, Mr. President.
Of course, Mr. President, from the rising star of Bulacan, the test the man.
I have to share, Mr. President, this story as I was looking at the pictures a while ago in the early 90s when this representation was a student then of the University of Santo Tomas. And I personally wrote a letter to the then chairperson of the Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority, considering that he's making a name not only in our region in Central Luzon, but in the four corners of this nation. And I would like to, again, put on record, even during that time when I was a student of the Economic Society, we have no intention of inviting anyone but then SBMA Chairman, Chairman Richard Gordon. And thank God he was available during that time. He made life miserable to the officers of ECOSOC because he decided to go to UST through a chopper. And so we need to get permission from the office of City Hall in Manila. And I will never forget that time when he talked about the opportunities that we are enjoying as a country, as a nation, especially as part of Central Luzon. Subic is such a great testimony of what we have accomplished during that time through the leadership of Chairman Gordon. And I was listening to him a while ago. I have a lot of personal stories. In fact, my wife and I would go to Subic to eat and dine, watch movies. When Senator Mig Zubiri talk about the Cosmic Bowling Center, ang dami ko pong experiences doon. Napakadami pong experiences ng representasyon na ito doon sa Subic Bay. Pag napunta ka ng Subic Bay at ikaw ay galing ng Bulacan, parang in ka. Ang dami ko pong experiences doon at tuwan-tuwa po ako sa Subic Bay at kaya tuwan-tuwa din ako na makasama ngayon ang ating Senator Richard Gordon na architect ng tagumpay ng Subic Bay. Mr. President, ang unang tanong ko, what really happened after that? I wanted to ask this question. Kanina, si Senator Zubiri was saying, it's probably a big chunk of it would refer to leadership problems. Question of leadership. Was it about the Asian financial crisis? Was it about the Pinatubo eruption? Ano ho ba talaga yung nangyari, Mr. President? Dahil, again, I also subscribe to what the good book is saying that people perish for lack of vision. And when you talk about visionary leaders, napakaganda nung nangyari noon, especially nung time ni Chairman Dick Gordon. Ano po ang nangyari at nasaan na nga ho ba tayo sa ngayon?
Siguro po, hindi, alam niyo naman parang tourism rin yan naglagay tayo ng Wow Philippines, walang bayad ang gobyerno. Kami lang po ang gumawa nun Pwedeng gamitin yung Wow Subic, Watch Our Whales, Wow Sorsogon, Watch Our Water World, pwedeng sabihin, marami tayong ginamitan ng Wow. Nung nagpalit, ang problema natin, kailangan meron tayong marka pagka tayo nalagay sa isang lugar. At siguro dahil doon, medyo hiwalay ng landas. Hindi naman masama po yan per se. Pero siyempre, dapat nakafocus ka na kung maayos na, you're a basketball player and a very good one at that. When you know something works, yung play na yung gagalingan nyo pa para lalong gumanda. Hindi yung papalitan mo yung play just because gusto mo magbago. You cannot change for the sake of change. Change has got to be dedicated, has got to be consistent and sustainable. Yun siguro ang medyo nawala. Yung bang, walang, yung sabi ko nga kanya, shared vision, shared values, shared sacrifices, shared triumphs na po. Yun ang aking nakikita.
Meron po ba tayo, Mr. President, na masamang ugali na tuwing may magandang nangyayari sa isang organisasyon, sa isang sangay ng pamahalaan at mayroong papalit, and just because this particular individual na na-appoint o napunta sa isang posisyon would like to make a mark and would like to differentiate himself, considering na may magandang nangyayari, eh hindi po ito itutuloy.
Well, I'm sure gusto nilang tumuloy, pero siyempre, dapat pag-aralan. We have to learn to analyze what works and what does not work. Hindi yung porque nakaupo ka, gusto mo baguhin kagad, ay kailangan talaga, ano ba nag-work? Di ba, pagka kayo nag-play, ano ba nag-work? Maganda yung screen. Maganda yung play na yon. So, gagalingan nyo pa, hanap ka naman ibang alternative na mapapasahan para hindi mababantayan. Yun ang kulang siguro. At saka siyempre hindi natin maalis yan. By the way, that is not only happening in the Philippines. It happens everywhere. Yung nga lang, those who replace, they want to have their mark, but they make things sustainable. Ginagawa nila yung tama. Kumbaga ko taking the good, throw out the bad. But that, don't throw the baby with the bath. Importante yan. Dahil, kundi, walang mangyayari. By the way, Mr. President, I just want to let everybody know here. Wala na ako sa Subic dahil sa trabaho ng mga volunteer. Tayo po ngayon ay fourth biggest shipbuilder in the world. Bakit po? Nung ginagawa po yung airport, pumunta po ako doon at pinamadali ko, kalahati by FF Cruz. Dahil nagmamadali po tayo. Kalahati by Hanjin. It was their first time to build an airport. Biniding po yan kasama namin ng World Bank. Makuha ng Hanjin, nagulat sila. Dahil pag pupunta ako doon, pag nagkalat yung sigarilyo, pinapupulot ko, sasabihin sa kanila, what are you building here? Oh, we're building an airport. No. Magsasagot tayo sa mga empleyado, pati mga Koreano. Sabi ko, what are you building here? Well, we're doing an airport. No. You're building our country. Finally, one time, nagpunta doon yung chairman. Alam nyo, nanalo siya doon sa sugal niya na magtayo ng airport sa Pilipinas, sa Subic. And later on, he would become chairman of the whole Hanjin Corporation. And when he thought of a shipyard that would be placed in Asia, walang kaduda-duda sa kanya, sa Subic. And I cannot forget this because hindi ako naimbitahan sa Malacanang nung inaugurahan niyang Hanjin. Nagtatampo sa akin ng presidente noon. Pero alam niyo ang ginawa ng chairman na yan? Tinawag po tayo sa Manila Hotel, pa-dinner siya, at sabi niya, kaya tayo lumipat dito because of the hard work of the people under this man who made me believe in the Philippines. I can never forget that story.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I have a story of my own with Subic Industries, particularly Hanjin. During my time in TESDA, I remember we were looking for 5,000 welders every single year for the shipyard in Subic. Mr. President, it's more than about, 25 years since you were the chair of SBMA. May I know what had happened, what changes took place, and perhaps we talk about industries, for instance, how many industries were there during your time, and perhaps we talk about employment. Because I remember during my stint, this representation stint as the Director General of TESDA, I didn't go to any officials of SBMA. Not that I am not invited or brief of what's going on in SBMA, but because I thought it would be a great idea for TESDA to have a memorandum of agreements and partnership with the different industries like Acer, Hanjin, and the likes. So again, I just wanted to ask Mr. President, how do you compare SBMA during your time and this time? And perhaps if you can give us a bird's eye view of how are we going to move forward in ensuring that what you have started in SBMA will not go to waste.
Well, there were 5 F's in my vocabulary that I coined during my time in Subic. I was learning as I was doing it. 5 F's. Focus. Nakafocus ka, makakuha ka ng trabaho sa tao. Fast. Mabilis siyang magpapasok ng negosyo. Walang delay para mabilis silang papasok. Friendly. Walang kurakot. Flexible. Pagka hindi magawa, hindi ka talagang parang may blinders. Pwede bang ayusin. And finally, forward-looking. Ina-adjust mo. Naglalagay ka ng airport, naglalagay ka ng communications like yung 5ESS switch. Nung araw, sikat na sikat yan. Yung fiber optic cable na ginawa natin dyan. May satellite communications. Lahat yun nilagay natin. So, naging kaakit-akit. Pumasok ang Acer. Later on, sabi ni kaibigan ngayon yung may-ari yung founder niyan eh. Sabi niya, we will make this the biggest Acer company. Nung nawala na tayo, hindi na Acer ngayon. Ang pangalan ngayon, Wistrom na. Imbis na gumagawa ng computer at laptops, hindi na gumagawa nun. Iwan pa sa motherboard card, hindi na ganun karami ang trabaho. You can see the factory there. We had also a lot of Taiwanese firms that came in, gumagawa ng kwan. Yung Omron sa Hapon, gumagawa ng mga locks, yung mga turnstiles, ginagawa yan dyan. Reebok for a while, pero nawala yan because, alam mo, laking story yan ng Reebok because nalugi sila doon sa ibang kumpanya nila, nung magpipick up sila, ayaw na magbayad ng sweldo. Kinuha ko lahat yung equipment nila hanggang bayaran nila yung sweldo. Maraming experience dyan. Koreans were making fishing poles. Another Japanese company was making telephones and kung ano, maraming ginagawa. You had hotels coming in, you had a casino from Genting Highlands, and you had other companies that were putting up support for FedEx. Hitachi was building refrigerators and air conditioners. Ang dami talaga. Pero nung napasok, nagbawas na nagbawas. So, kaya, I'm sorry to say this, but sometimes I'd rather not go. I go there at most once a month because pag nakikita ko, nasasaktan lang ako eh. Kaya nga, inlabas ko na ito sa mga loob ko ngayong araw na ito para maraman nyo na we cannot go by missed opportunities.
Mr. President, if I may, can we talk about employment and the importance of having a decent and kanina binabanggit nyo nga po, hindi yung endotype or hindi yung palliative solution type of employment. And I remember when I had the chance to partner with different industries in Subic Bay, and I think you mentioned a while ago, Coach Bags, Luentai, we were able to produce some 8,000 sewers for Ralph Lauren, for Muji, etc.
Suits.
Yes. Mr. President, may I know from the distinguished gentleman the magnitude of creation of employment when you talk about the Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority?
Yes, sir. We had 200,000 jobs in and out of the facility. Remember, patay ang Olongapo. Patay yung Subic.
And I remember a lot of my kababayans from Bulacan would go to Subic for work.
Yes. And because nagkaroon ng hanap buhay, nagkaroon ng multiplier effect yan, lumakas ulit yung palengke, yung mga bigas sa Nueva Ecija, nabibenta ulit dyan. But more than that, kung titingnan nyo ang Taiwan, ang Korea, nagsimula yan doon sa mga Reebok.
Yes.
Ganon-ganon lang yan.
You even brought the Reebok shoes of Shaquille O'Neal
That's right.
during my college days, Mr. President.
That's correct. Ang laki yata, size 18 ata yun, or size 19?
20 something.
Ang laki
22,
nun.
size 22, if I'm
And
not
I can tell you,
mistaken.
Mr. President, yun ang pinafollow ko. I remember the Deputy Minister of Trade of Taiwan came over. Sabi niya, hindi namin kayo makalimutan ang Pilipinas doon, sikat na sikat. Gustong-gusto namin pumunta dyan. Yung Bank of Nang ba yun, si Jeffrey Koo. May bangko dito yun, kalimutan ko yung pangalan ngayon. Sabi niya, Mr. Chairman, sabi niya, nung papunta kami dyan, pati paa namin. Pinipingerprint. He was a golfer. Dahil natatakot tayo nung pumapasok ang mga Taiwanese at tumatakas sa People's Republic of China, pumapasok dito. And yet, sabi nung Minister of Trade, yung Deputy Minister, sabi niya, before, wala kami sapatos. Ang sapatos namin, isa. Ngayon, ang mga anak namin, namimili ng Reebok, Nike, lahat. Because yumaman na kami. Alam namin ang pakiramdam nyo. Sana umabot rin kayo sa amin. Ang sakit noon. Several times, nahiwa yung puso ko dyan. Mahathir one there, sabi niya sa akin, Chairman, sabi niya, I know how it is to be poor. We used to be poor like you. Gusto ko na sagutin eh. Because we were better than they were.
Yes.
And yet, lumakas sila. So, ano ang feel? Eventually, kukuha ka ng mga kumpanya na padikit-dikit sa sapatos, gagawa ng Amerikana. Nung araw, sinusuit ko pa yung Amerikana. You remember, I would wear the suit. I get the Reebok pair of shoes or yung telephone na ginagawa o yung mga fishing pole, lahat. Yung mga dive suit, ginagawa doon yan. Yung mga locks, yung mga kwan. And sabi ko, someday, nagsisimula ka. I remember I would go to Reebok. Bubulungan ko yung babae. Napaka-boring. Alas 3 na madaling araw, batang babae, dumadaan yung sapatos, kinokola yung sapatos. Sabi ko, nag-aaral ka ba? Tingin, tatakot pa, baka makagalitan. Hindi, kausapin mo ako. Hindi mo makapag-aaral sa trabaho. Sabi ko, hindi, pilitin mo mag-aaral. Sabi ko, anong ambisyon mo sa buhay? Hanggang dito na lang po. Hindi, kako, tingnan mo. Nakita mo yung inchik na yun? Sabi ko, gano'n. Gusto ko by next year, kunin mo yung trabaho nun. Galingan mo. And then, some of them really followed the advice. And pretty soon, they were managers. And that's how you go development. Development starts when you leave something that is less and you go for something more. Tataas yan ang tataas yan. Kung napagbigyan, siguro marami na. Ang FedEx, nung araw, pag tumanggap, ang laki ng sweldo. Pero 900 lang ang nakuha nila. Pero hanggang sa Maynila, meron silang operation. I remember I go to Davao, kakabit ko yung FedEx doon sa cut flowers ng Davao at saka tuna ng Davao because dinadala yung tuna overnight sa Japan. Kaya fresh tuna, dalagay sa FedEx, doon pa kay Bert Lina, doon sa Air Freight 2100, sasakay, dadali Subic, kakarga. The next afternoon, afternoon after they fly early in the morning, nandun na sa Japan. So, marami tayong dapat maintindihan. Speed is the name of the game. Ito ang katulad ngayon, interview ka sa radyo, mapuputol yung telepono. Bakit? Overloaded. Ba't natin pinababayaan na ganyan? Dapat lahat meron. Yung internet, masaya na tayo, naglagay na internet. No! Dapat ang internet ang susi. Yan ang mga barko, yan ang mga aeroplano ng mga mahihirap para makita nila hindi nila ma-afford by way of the internet. Yan sila nakakakuha ng knowledge. But we are not making it fast enough. Marami tayong pwedeng gawin, and that's why every time you have in Iloilo, Cagayan de Oro, a Negros, or a Cebu, or Batangas, or Laguna going up, let us keep on supporting these areas para lumakas tayo, because that's the only way. The hard way is always the best way.
I agree, Mr. President, and yung binanggit niyo ho kanina, 200,000 jobs. Sa inyo po bang pananaw sa mga panahon na ito, meron po ba kayong ini-envision na figure na kung saan Subic is supposed to be creating this much jobs? Mr. President, I have to also commend Subic during that time, especially during your time, when you talk about jobs being created in the tourism sector. When you go to Subic, during my college days, you could hardly go there without reservations in the hotel.
That's correct.
It's all fully booked.
That's correct.
Again, Mr. President, my take here is that it is important that we focus on creating decent jobs. It is important that we look back and see how Subic became the darling, not only of this country, but of Southeast Asia. And how can we actually go back to that position, Mr. President, if the distinguished gentleman would talk about nawawalang mga gamit sa Subic? You look at the infrastructure projects, Mr. President. I just saw Senator Manny Pacquiao during the hearing of his committee, naslashan pa yung budget ng infra sa Region 3 ng about 3 or 4 billion pesos. So again, Mr. President, it's important, I think, that we really discuss these issues concerning job creation.
And I think the gentleman, because these are very prescient and very, penetrating questions. Because minsan nakala natin, nangyari lang dahil madali. I remember I would make slogans. I'm a cheerleader. I'm not like you. I mean, I'm not a very good player, so I always cheered for our team in the same manner that I think we should cheer for our country all the time. So I would say, Mayo Olongapo, mag-ambisyon ka. Bawal ang tamad, work ethic, lalong bawal ang tanga, mag-aaral ka. Duty, dignity, determination. When I took over Subic, I said, protect and preserve to prosper. Protect Subic, let's not steal it. Protect and preserve yung forest at saka yung mga iniwan ng Amerikano. That will protecting and preserving our reputation, and we will prosper. And then sumunod doon, preparation, hard work, opportunity. Maganda ka, hindi ka kakausapin ng Hapon ng Tagalog. Mag-aaral ka mag-English. Manood ka ng English, and then think in English. Tinuturo ko yan hanggang doon. Think in English. Para hindi yung, hello, police, this is, accident there is, coming you, waiting I. Di ba? Hello, police ba ito? May aksidente dito.
How are you dito na
Punta ka rito, hintayin kita rito. Ganun eh. Hindi pwedeng ganun. So, you have to think in English. And I would remind them, read. Pagkatapos, sabihin ko sa kanila, preparation, hard work, opportunity. Magsipag ka, mag-ambisyon ka, kunin mo yung trabaho ng boss mo. And then the other thing that I want to say is this. You copy from other countries. Japan copied from other countries. Hindi marunong mag-English sa mga yan, pero they copied their army from Germany, their navy from Britain. They made Leica, Nikon. They made Ford. Yung Ford nila, naging Toyota. Nagawa lahat yan. But, ang sinasabi ko dito ito, ako nung araw, Hong Kong. Nagsimula ang Hong Kong, Opium War. Kinuha ng British yung Hong Kong. Later on, kinuha ng Freeport. Pwede lahat, kahit ano. And then, they went to Kowloon. Nagkaroon ng ferry. Kumita sila sa ferry. Balik-balik at sa bante. Di ba? Tapos, nagpunta ngayon sa new territories. Lumalabas na. Tapos, nagpunta sa Shenzhen, sa Macau. Nagkaroon ng airport ang Macau, Shenzhen, hanggang umabot na sa buong China. Ang plano namin sa Subic, and I want you to all to know this, is yung 143. From one highway, one railroad, you go to 4 airports, and 4 seaports and 3 airports. From Olongapo, you go to Bataan, you go to Zambales, you go to Clark or you have Pampanga, you go to Tarlac, you go to Nueva Ecija, you go to Bulacan, pakalat yan. Decongest Manila. Disperse industries. Yung ginawa ng iglesia, lagyan natin. Ayala, lagyan natin. In fact, we give incentives para pumunta rin yan, para lumuwag ang Maynila. Where you work, you live. Where you work, you go to school. Hindi ka tulad ngayon, madaling araw, aalis sa ka Bulacan, at kung magkamisan, iiwanan ng anak, mag-aaral mag-isa, babalik madaling araw na napakamahal ang mamasahe. That is what you call bringing opportunity to our people. Hindi yung naghihintay lang tayong bumagsak ang manna from heaven. Hindi nangyari yan. Yan ang plano namin ng araw. But, hindi pa ako nag-give up. We never give up. We're just beginning to fight again.
Thank you, Mr. President. And again, it would be interesting to note that the Bible says people perish for lack of vision.
That's correct.
And that's why visionary leaders are needed in our country today. For my last point, Mr. President, it was mentioned a while ago about the appointment of a certain Dino, Martin Dino, and I have this representation of nothing against him. It's just that, Mr. President, I feel that there are so many positions in government that we need to double check because not all of them would go through the Commission on Appointments. And I think one position like SBMA, Clark, AFAB, the Freeport area of Bataan,
The airports,
and some other positions, Mr.
Cebu
President.
International,
And-
Manila International.
And this is something that I wanted to raise with the distinguished gentleman from Olongapo, that there's so many positions in the government that we need to perhaps reevaluate with regard to the competencies, the requirements, because these are very important positions na hindi po pwedeng basta kung sino lang ang pwede nating ilagay dito. Merong mga momentum na tinatamasa tayo. For example, nung last privilege speech po natin, binanggit natin yung pagbaba ng unemployment rate, pagbaba ng underemployment rate, significant. Kung magpapatuloy po ang pagbibigay ng posisyon, and I'm not saying, no, dito lang sa SBMA, or I'm not even saying, or singling out yung pong binanggit na pangalan kanina. Ang sinasabi ko lang po, Mr. President, is that perhaps our institution would do something in looking into these very important positions. Because, again, I have heard enough this afternoon about missed opportunities. And opportunities are missed because some people don't care. And I don't want to be part of this group of people who doesn't care. Sapagkat, Mr. President, I believe na meron tayong great destiny as a nation at itong mga kasamahan po natin, kasama dito sa Senado, ay mayroong magagawa tungkol po dito sa usapin na ito.
Thank you very much. It's very commendable that you make these observations, Mr. President. You have to define yourself. We all have to define ourselves. And you're a human being because you care for your fellow man. And you don't stop. You don't take the position. Because leadership is not position. It is action. You don't stay in place. Right now, ang sitwasyon natin is we're practically running to stay in place. Hirap na hirap tayo.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you,
President.
Thank you.
Again, I'd like to associate this representation with the gentleman from Olongapo City, and I'd like to put on record that I will actively participate and cooperate with to the leadership of our dear colleague, Senator Dick Gordon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
In the early 90s, when this representation was a student then of the University of Santo Tomas, and I personally wrote a letter to the then chairperson of the Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority, considering that he's making a name not only in our region in Central Luzon, but in the four corners of this nation. And I would like to, again, put on record, even during that time when I was a student of the Economic Society, we have no intention of inviting anyone but then SBMA Chairman, Richard Gordon. And thank God he was available during that time. He made life miserable to the officers of ECOSOC because he decided to go to UST through a chopper. And so,
Mr. President, may we recognize Senator Joel Villanueva for the continuing interpellation.
Senator Villanueva is recognized.
thank you, Mr. Majority Floor Leader. Thank you, Mr. President. And before I ask questions, I'd like to personally congratulate our dear Senate President Pro Tempore for that distinguished award. And for this matter, I'd like to ask if the distinguished gentleman from Olongapo, my fellow kababayan from Central Luzon, would yield to very few questions, Mr. President.
Of course, Mr. President, from the rising star of Bulacan, the test the man.
I have to share, Mr. President, this story as I was looking at the pictures a while ago. We need to get permission from the office of City Hall in Manila And I will never forget that time when he talked about the opportunities that we are enjoying as a country, as a nation, especially as part of Central Luzon. Subic is such a great testimony of what we have accomplished during that time through the leadership of Chairman Gordon. And I was listening to him a while ago. I have a lot of personal stories. In fact, my wife and I would go to Subic to eat and dine, watch movies. When Senator Mig Zubiri talk about the cosmic bowling center, ang dami ko pong the Asian financial crisis. Was it about the Pinatubo eruption? Ano ho ba talaga yung nangyari, Mr. President? Dahil, again, I also subscribe to what the good book is saying, that people perish for lack of vision. And when you talk about visionary leaders, napakaganda nung nangyari noon, especially nung time ni Chairman Dick Gordon. Ano po ang nangyari at nasaan na nga ho ba tayo sa ngayon?
Siguro po, hindi, alam niyo naman parang tourism rin yan naglagay tayo ng Wow Philippines, walang bayad ang gobyerno. Kami lang po ang gumawa nun Pwedeng gamitin yung Wow Subic, Watch Our Whales, Wow Sorsogon, Watch Our Water World.
Experiences doon. Napakadami pong experiences ng representasyon na ito doon sa Subic Bay. Pag napunta ka ng Subic Bay at ikaw ay galing ng Bulacan, parang in ka. Ang dami ko pong experiences doon at tuwan-tuwa po ako sa Subic Bay at kaya tuwan-tuwa din ako na makasama ngayon ang ating Senator Richard Gordon na architect ng tagumpay ng Subic Bay. Mr. President, ang unang tanong ko, what really happened after that? I wanted to ask this question. Kanina, si Senator Zubiri was saying, it's probably a big chunk of it would refer to leadership problems. Question of leadership. Was it about